What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Monday. Got a bunch of stuff to do this morning. Sold a bunch of pickups over the weekend. Got a lot of work to do this week, so that's pretty good. I got some good video content coming out, which is going to be great. Looks like I need to water my spider plant. Okay, so here's an interesting thing that I've been kind of monitoring over the last few weeks, maybe a couple months. Honestly, I didn't know I was monitoring it, but I just ended up looking back, right? First of all, we should say I never, ever like engagement farm when I post stuff. I know anytime somebody posts something semi-controversial that gets a lot of views because people hate it, people call it shit posting, right? They accuse that person, whoever it is, of like doing it on purpose to get engagement. Obviously, that's what you're going to do if you. And I never, ever do that. I think it's dumb. So if I post something on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, it's because it's what was on my mind and I just do it. Do I give it a lot of thought? Nah. Do I give it most of the time? Sometimes I'm actually trying to do something strategic because I'm trying to sell a product, or I'm trying to say, hey, this video is coming out or whatever. But most of the time when I post stuff, I don't really give it a whole lot of thought. It's just sort of on my mind and I just post it. So I'm not doing it on purpose to get views. Like, that's just not... people think that you do that because you're trying to like grow a channel or something. But here's the thing about it is, if you do that, it doesn't grow it right, which we'll get into in a minute. It's not the right way to do it. It's not a good business decision. So that's why I don't do it. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean people don't react to it. Right. And what I've learned from this, so it wasn't like an intentional experiment. Like, I'm going to post this really controversial thing, and then I'm going to post this not controversial thing and see what the difference is. I didn't do it on purpose, but I just had a bunch of that. And so I went back and looked. And there's a couple of interesting things. One is, yes, the stuff that's really controversial or could be seen as controversial by some folks appears to have a lot more engagement. So it'll have a lot more comments on it, right? And the stuff that's just like, hey, I'm putting strings on my guitar today, which is just sharing, kind of guitar porn, doesn't get a lot of engagement, which is super interesting. Now, it gets a lot of views. It might get likes. It might get like whatever, but it doesn't make a lot of conversation because there's nothing to be said. It's just sort of, and I think people like it. I just think they don't click on it, right? Which is interesting. Okay. So it's really easy to, when you pull up any kind of social media about anything, could not just about guitars, and conclude that guitar players or whatever we're talking about are just perpetually angry all the time, because the majority of the interactions are these angry interactions. Every guitar is overpriced. This, you did this wrong. My guitar is better, blah, 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 whatever. Every opinion needs correcting. Every video or everything we say like threatens your worldview. So therefore you need to get, pitchforks in the comments. But what's interesting is most people don't do that. The majority of people, and I think we think that the internet is just like that, but that's not the majority of people. Most people watch the video, see the post, learn something. Maybe they don't even watch the whole thing. Maybe they watch it in times 2 because they don't have time. I have a really faithful viewer who's been watching our stuff for years, and he told me I always watch your stuff in times 2. He just doesn't have the time. It makes sense to me. I mean, yeah. Okay, cool. That's great. And if you have a perfectly pleasant experience, you don't typically say, I had a perfectly pleasant experience. You don't just say, yeah, that video was very well balanced and I really enjoyed it. Or I liked everything about that video except for this one little thing that doesn't really matter. Or nobody really does that, right? Folks that are just normally having reactions to things that they just, oh, that was cool, don't really, they don't do anything. They don't say anything. They're largely invisible, right? And we know this for sure because you can look at a video with 10,000 views on it, and it'll have 100 comments, or it'll have 200 comments. Well, what's the percentage? That percentage? It's very, very low, right? It's 0.1% or whatever. I'm not doing the math in my head, but so let's say it has 200 comments. Well, then of those 200 comments, you might have 5, let's call it, or 8 maybe, or let's say 10 or 15 negative comments. And then on those, you might have 3 or 4 with like a thread where people have kind of glommed onto that negativity and they're all talking about it, right? Or arguing, right? But it's like a super low percentage, which is really, really interesting. And when you see a post that doesn't have very many interactions on it, it's not because it wasn't interesting. It's because it didn't make anybody mad. And they only do, so it's pretty cool, actually, to think about the fact that most of the stuff that we do, everything that we do here on this channel and on the other, and also this channel has been an excellent unintentional experiment, because every time we post here and just have a thoughtful conversation, people just have a thoughtful conversation. Very few people, like the percentage of people that get upset in the comment section on this channel is way lower. And actually, on my big channel, the amount of people that get upset is actually lower in comparison to other YouTube channels that I've seen. So actually, I'm really proud of it. I think it's really cool. I think we've really created a really good community. Now, the argumentative commenter, they're honestly the special kind of person. They're the one who's unique. I think that most people aren't like this. The argumentative commenter is the unique person. It takes a special kind of person to watch an educational or an entertaining video and immediately search for something wrong with it. You know what I mean? Search for something to fight about. They're not just disagreeing. Now, disagreeing is great. We can disagree. Oh, I don't agree with that. Why don't you agree with that? Well, because this conclusion or that conclusion, and we have a conversation about it. That's fine. That's awesome. That's great. People accuse me of not allowing disagreement. Well, there's a difference between disagreeing and searching for a point of conflict, something to be mad about. You're searching for something to be mad about. A word that you can misunderstand or deliberately say, you said that wrong, because we've seen this. The whole video goes by and they're like, I think you meant to say this. Dude, okay. Yeah, probably. I probably did mean to say it, but, I'm talking fast. A claim that they can remove from context and then pin it to you, like nail you to the wall with it. A brand that they are obligated to defend because they own one, right? An opinion that they can treat as a factual error. So I could say something about, I can't think of anything. I don't like stainless steel frets. Well, that is factually wrong because stainless steel frets are better. Well, I just said I don't like stainless steel fret or whatever it is. It could be anything, or maybe they're trying to establish their comment section credentials. I've been doing this so long and blah, 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 right? And it's interesting that, the people, so they're kind of the minority. And so if you're this person who does this stuff, just understand that nobody cares. Really largely, we're not listening to you. We're laughing at you a lot of times because what you say is really funny. but we're not really paying attention to you, right? Now I used to spend quite a bit of time, if I saw something really factually incorrect, I just hate to see misinformation out there, so I would try to correct it. That's, I think, where I get the reputation of saying nobody is allowed to disagree with you. Well, if you say something factually incorrect, I don't want that. I don't want you to mislead other viewers, right? So therefore I'm going to correct it. But it doesn't really work, so I stopped doing it. I don't know if you've noticed this, but lately in videos, I'm really rarely in the comments, especially on negative stuff, because I don't think it's smart. I don't think it's a good thing to do, and I'll just let y'all handle it, right? You guys can be the judge of whatever you need to be the judge of, and feel whatever power you feel like you need to feel. And I'm just going to be over here making videos and making pickups and petting dogs and feeding lizards and snakes and stuff. I'm just going to enjoy my life because I have a lot of fun doing what I do. So, the Facebook thing was pretty interesting because, I'd make a post. Nobody really comments on it. Nobody really comments when they're learning something. Nobody really wants to participate when it's actually something useful. But sometimes when you post something, I don't know, that they don't like, you could just tell that the interest is in conflict, which says to me, dude, you need to get some. I would look into that if I was you, really. And I genuinely mean that. Like, I will tell you that I have days where anxiety is high, and I don't mean stress. I mean anxiety, like from just the way the world is, and etc. And I have to do something about it. I have to do something about it, and I have done something about it, and it's important to check into it, right? I would recommend it, and I know a lot of y'all are old, and a lot of y'all are stuck in your ways, and you think that maybe getting some help and maybe, I don't know, taking some medicine, something is a bad thing to do. But dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, it is probably one of the smartest things. And I know most people are medicated these days, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's amazing. So if you are this kind of person who's just constantly angry and constantly whatever, it's not the content. You know what I mean? It isn't like this is just guitar stuff. We're just playing around. Like, this is fun. Like, playing guitar. This is fun. And if you can't handle an opinion, if you can't handle yourself when giving your opinion, man, look into that. And I really mean that. Like, and I'm not making fun of somebody because they disagree with me. I'm not making fun of any of that. I'm genuinely serious. I think you should look into it because you're probably doing it in other areas of life. And I bet your other relationships with friends and with family and everything could improve if you looked into it. I really mean that. I wasn't going to put that in this video. This is sort of one of those spontaneous, I'm not thinking before I'm speaking kind of things that I may live to regret. But I'm telling you right now, I don't really regret, though. I should walk that back. I don't regret stuff. I don't. Well, you regret this, well, that whole thing blew up on you, whatever. I don't care. I don't regret anything. I learn from stuff and I go, oh, look at this course of action. I may do this differently next time. But I view it as a learning experience. I never regret anything. Regretting is dumb. It doesn't accomplish anything. Okay, that got a little bit deep. One of the things I find interesting about all of this is that, so people will say, well, you're doing it on purpose because you're trying to get views, right? And you're trying to, that the whole content farming, the whole reaction farming sort of thing. Here's the problem. That doesn't work, okay? And so for those of you that think that, here's a little inside baseball about the business side of how life works from the small business perspective. And if you have a small business, here's some suggestions, okay? Outrage, it does produce participation. It does produce comments and likes, but it does not produce likes in this comments and reactions, not necessarily likes, which is great because then the algorithms on the various social media sites push your stuff out to more people, and more people see it. Okay. The problem is that participation on a post. So the amount of comments, let's say it has 100 comments, right? And they're all angry. That doesn't necessarily produce interest in the product. So I sell pickups for a living. That's what I do. I don't make YouTube videos for a living, and I don't make Facebook posts for a living. Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are my yellow pages, right? So we don't have yellow pages anymore the way we did before. And so that's my yellow pages. That's how people find what I do, right? And so participation in the form of angry comments, yes, it does push our stuff out to more people, but it doesn't always push it out to the right people. I don't really care about participation. And I don't know if you've noticed this, and you probably have. You're like, okay, so we have 130,000 subscribers or something, right? Which sounds amazing, but our views, our videos only get, 2, 3, 4,000 views in the first 48 hours or whatever, which is not a lot. So I don't make a lot of money off of YouTube. It's not, we don't get, you know what I mean? That's never been the goal. What I care about is to have 5 or 6 people a day out of those few thousand views. 5 or 6, let's see, 150, 5. Yeah, 5 or 6. Okay, so 5 or 6 people a day be interested in our products and buy our products. That's what I really care about, right? So if we have 3,000 views and 5 or 6 people buy products from us, then I can make a living. That's what I care about, right? So I want people to be interested in what we do, not just reacting to what we do. So this is why it's important for people to understand the difference. And if you have a small business, understand that too, that you're looking for people that are interested in what you do. So you're not comment farming, you're not engagement farming, you're not just trying to get views. Now, there are YouTube channels and content creators who are just trying to get views because that's how they make their living. But that's not me. I don't make my living that way. So and what that does is it makes it to where conflict is the reason that people participate, right? And I don't want to do that. That's not the goal, because they don't buy anything. People that are angry don't buy stuff. People that are excited buy stuff. And they're usually only there for the more controversial stuff, right? And they usually don't want to contribute unless they can argue about something. So the comment section isn't usually, for me personally, a measurement of genuine interest. Usually it is a measurement of how angry people are about something, which is humorous and sad, but not useful to the business. So, this is one of the reasons why I kind of got out of the comment section, because I don't want to contribute to agitation. I don't want you to be mad. I don't want you to be upset. I don't, a lot of people be like, well, that creates views. I don't want that. I genuinely don't want that. I would rather have a video that gets 1,500 views and a bunch of people really interested in what we're doing than a video that gets 10,000 views with 300 comments of everybody fighting. I just don't care about it. I don't want it, right? Now it's going to happen sometimes. You're going to be like, well, you cut a guitar apart. See, and this is where people don't believe me, because they're like, you cut a guitar apart for views. Okay, sure. There was a percentage of my brain that was like, this is going to be funny. But most of the thought that went into that was, this is probably going to make some people mad, but I want to do it because I want to know. I need to know. And then I call my guy and I talk about wood stuff and I learn things, and like, it was very, very useful to me. And actually, that week of activity on social media taught me a lot moving forward about how we're going to do stuff. And I learned a lot from it. Again, I don't regret it. Well, that blew up in your face, whatever. Nah, not really. It's pretty cool. I think I made a friend. We'll see. I think I made a friend. I think I made a couple friends, actually. We'll see. As a result, I had a couple companies actually reach out to me because of that video and be like, hey, we see what you're actually doing here behind the scenes of this, and we like it. And I'm like, well, thanks. So, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be kind of interesting. But the majority of folks, they just enjoy the process. They love guitars. And they see what we're actually trying to do here. And that is, honestly, sell pickups. Because we make amazing pickups, right? And I'm really proud of them. And I'm proud of our business. I'm proud of my family. I love what we do here. I love that it's a family business. I don't necessarily know how to lean into that more, but I want to, because it's so cool, man. It's so cool. To me, people talk about the American dream. This is it. My whole family's at home with our dogs, doing amazing stuff, making you smile when you slam an E chord. To me, it doesn't get better than that, right? Like, that's the coolest thing. That's the coolest thing. And I see you out there, even if you don't comment. Quiet viewers to me are the ones that matter. So if we have a video that gets, let's say we have a video that gets 10,000 views, it's got 200 comments on it, and there's a bunch of angry people. It's the other 9,800 views that nobody comments or nobody likes or anything that I care about, because I see you out there. And I have really, really loyal customers, and we get new customers every day to the pickup business. I've been a long-time viewer, and I've never commented on anything. Can you help me with this pickup? Happens every day. Every day. And I am so grateful for you. I want to say that. The quiet viewer has a healthier and more meaningful relationship with the content that we make. And then eventually with me, we make friends. I will be friends with my customers. We will, we'll meet up. Geez, it's awesome. It's awesome. I can't tell you how many times, because we live on I-20, like we're on one of the main thoroughfares in Southeast. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a message and said, hey, I'm coming through on Thursday or whatever day. Do you want to meet for coffee? And I'll be like, yeah, there's a Starbucks right there, or there's a Mexican place right there, right off of I-20 as you're coming through Augusta, west of town. I'm like, come on, let's go. And I'll literally meet up with people I've never seen before, because I just want to hang out with you. I think it's the coolest thing. And those are people that are usually silent in the comments. And it's super, super cool. It's just the neatest thing. I cannot tell you how awesome that is. It's so cool. It's so cool. That's not to say that I don't want you to disagree, right? I'm not saying I just want you to agree with me all the time and we just be friends. That's not what I'm saying. That would be super boring if you never agreed. In fact, I would like you to disagree with me in person. as we're having a cup of coffee on I-20, when you pop by and you go, you know what? That video you made was really stupid. Or that thing you said about that guitar, I have one of those and it's not true. Awesome. Because then I can gain further perspective. Not in a comment section, actually making friends with you. And we will be better friends when it's over. I think that's great. The disagreeing just to be disagreeable is one thing, but disagreement is good. It adds information. Your experience was different. I have been really enjoying y'all's engagement on the short that I made on the big channel and the video that I made on this channel about costs of guitars from around the world. It's really helped me to gain a lot of perspective, and I think a lot of other viewers' perspective on stuff that we're just not familiar with. And I really, really appreciate that. And I have to tell you that since we did all the Harley Benton stuff, the amount of folks who've actually shared like genuine positive Harley Benton experiences, or even other stuff, Fireflies and all kinds of other things, has really, I'm not lying when I tell you I've completely changed my tune on that stuff. I've really completely just really softened my whole stance is the right word, because I was very squared up and against that stuff. And I've just seeing how many people do have positive experiences, like genuine ones, not like, you know, I have 13 of these and I never play a Gibson again and I'm saying trash about good guitars because, you know, but they really are like, no, I love this thing, man. I love it. And here's why, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. You know, because the positive people have spoken up, not just all the dorks, right? And I think it's really, really cool. And so disagreement is good. It's very useful. And man, I tell you what, the overall experience from that for me has been very, very positive. Like personally for me, very, very, very positive. And that just teaches me that, and I hope it teaches you too, that the overall experience on the internet, because people call it the internet, like, well, the internet's just like that, is way more positive than you think. It's not as negative as it appears. Yeah, there's some people that are angry. Yeah, there's some people that I really believe need to like look into why they are so angry. They need to improve their lives, not just in the comments. Because people say, well, I'm not really like this in real life. Well, it's not really true. It's kind of like being drunk. When you're drunk, your inhibitions are down. And so who you really are sort of accidentally comes out, right? It's the same thing in comments, in my view. It's like you don't have the inhibitions of being in, you know, at risk of being punched in the face because you're in person. So you can say whatever the heck you want. The anonymity lowers the inhibitions and the real you sort of comes out, right? Well, I'm not really like that. I kind of think you probably are. And I would look into that if I was you. You know what I mean? I just, man, I really do. Because I that's a genuine thing. I really do care about that. And I know that's a little deep for what we talk about normally, but man, I would look into it. So, I'm really happy with how things are going, and I love the fact that you guys are here. And I don't want to share this today. I thought it was just a really kind of a positive thing to just be like, wow, how awesome is this? It's so fun. And think about this too, from my perspective. Having a conversation with you every day, and I know it's not really a conversation because I'm talking and you're listening, and then, you know, it's not back and forth like real conversation, but I can make a living just having conversations with y'all. But that's my goal. My goal is not to make everybody mad. It's to sell pickups, because that is ultimately how I make a living. So I need 5 or 6 of you every day to like what we do. And that's it.